We have serious news this evening. There has been a second shooting involving immigration agents in the second day this week. Tonight, we have confirmation that two individuals have been shot by immigration agents in Portland, Oregon. The two individuals are thankfully alive. They are currently hospitalized. We don't have too many details about the circumstances concerning the shooting, but local law enforcement, local federal and state officials are very worried this evening, not just because of the shooting, but also because of the response. News is coming in fast and a lot of things are fluctuating, but I'm going to talk to you about what we know right now in this moment. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you want to support my work. Subscribe to my Substack by clicking the link below. This evening, according to KATU News, Portland police said that officers were called to 102nd and Southeast Main Street at about 2:20 p.m., just a matter of hours ago, where they said they confirmed federal agents were involved in a shooting. They said they were not involved in the shooting, so that's an important distinction. Portland Police Department was not involved in the shooting. According to Mayor Keith Wilson, who released the following statement. Remember, when you see these timestamps, 3:45 p.m. is on the West Coast, so this statement was released in the last hour. He writes, just one day after the horrific violence in Minnesota at the hands of federal agents, our community here in Portland is now grappling with another deeply troubling incident. Earlier this afternoon, two people were shot and injured by federal agents in the Hazelwood neighborhood. We cannot sit by while constitutional protections erode and bloodshed mounts. Portland is not a training ground for militarized agents, and the full force threatened by the administration has deadly consequences. As mayor, I call on ICE to end all operations in Portland until a full investigation can be completed. Federal militarization undermines effective community-based public safety, and it runs contrary or counter to the values that define our region. I will use every legal and legislative tool available to protect our residents' civil and human rights. I call on every Portlander to represent our values and to show up with calm and purpose during this difficult time. Portland does not respond to violence with violence. We respond with clarity, unity, and a commitment to justice. We must stand together to protect Portland. The City of Portland will continue to provide updates as they become available. We are grateful for our first responders for their support of victims. Meanwhile, Congresswoman Janelle Bynum issued a very, very serious statement. Quote, this isn't law enforcement, it's state-sponsored terrorism. Stop fucking with us. This is her statement, a congresswoman, her statement confirming that this happened, confirming essentially that it was at the hands of immigration agents. Quote, this is the second shooting this week by agents following the orders of a wannabe dictator who was trying to take over cities and rule by instilling terror in the hearts of American people. When the president deployed his guardsmen to our city earlier this year, we told him their presence was unwelcome and unhelpful. Today, we saw just how dangerous this is. We need to get these goons gone, get to step in. That's from Congresswoman Janelle Bynum. We have a statement from the Department of Homeland Security this evening, released just minutes ago. Quote, at 2:19 PST, U.S. Border Patrol agents were conducting a targeted vehicle stop in Portland, Oregon. The passenger of the vehicle and target is a Venezuelan illegal alien affiliated with the transnational Tren de Aragua prostitution ring and involved in a recent shooting in Portland. The vehicle driver is believed to be a member of the vicious Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. When agents identified themselves to vehicle occupants, the driver weaponized his vehicle and attempted to run over the law enforcement agents. Fearing for his life and safety, an agent fired a defensive shot. The driver drove off with the passenger fleeing the scene. The situation is evolving and more information is forthcoming. Senator Jeff Merkley said, quote, huge concern about a reported shooting of two individuals by federal agents outside of a Portland Adventist hospital. My team and I are closely monitoring the situation and are working hard to get answers. I will share any updates as I learn more. Please keep protests of Trump's ICE/CBP peaceful. As Trump wants to generate riots, don't take the baits. Don't take the bait. Now, a man at the scene told KATU that he saw the wounded man stopped in a vehicle and bleeding. Listen, there's a lot that doesn't really add up. I'm going to be honest with you with this, but I do want to show you the moment that the Portland City Council found out that a shooting had occurred. Take a look.
I apologize, but we actually need to recess the meeting immediately. I would like us to get back to this question. We will have more information for counselors in just a minute and for everybody in the room, but we do need to take a brief recess. We will be back as soon as we can.
So that's the moment the shooting happened. They were like, well, we need to take a brief recess. We need to, because there was potentially a threat to the Portland City Council. I do want to talk to you tonight. Now, I don't know what the circumstances are with this shooting. No one truly knows. The Department of Homeland Security could be right. Local officials could be right. They could end up coming together and agreeing on what happened here. We don't know what actually happened here just yet. And I want to emphasize that because it's important not to spread conspiracies, not to spread misinformation about what is happening. We don't know the full answer. And until we do, the full investigation is needed here. And we're going to wait for Portland PD to come out. We're going to wait for the mayor to speak on it some more. But there's already a lot of chaos as a result of tonight's shooting. But what we do know in all of this, whether in Minneapolis or in Portland, is that none of this would have happened but for the deployment of these immigration officers on the ground in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and in Portland, Oregon. And I do want to take you back to earlier this year because according to The Atlantic, we learned earlier this year that ICE tried to double, triple its recruitment efforts following the passage of the Big Beautiful Bill. That bill allocated hundreds of millions of dollars in new federal funding to ICE, CBP, and the Department of Homeland Security to conduct immigration raids and immigration enforcement activities across America. As part of that hiring effort, ICE officers actually were cut down in terms of the number of days they had to train. They only actually had to conduct 47 days of training new hirees because the Trump administration really wanted to get these new hires out into immigration enforcement quickly. The sooner that they could train them, the sooner they could start arresting and deporting undocumented migrants in the United States of America, right? And so they cut it down to 47 days. You want to know why they cut it down to 47 days? Well, according to The Atlantic, it was to pay homage to the 47th president of the United States. If you don't know who that is, he is the current president of the United States, Donald Trump. And so there are going to be a lot of questions, not just this evening, but in the next several days and weeks ahead, as we see more of these shootings involving ICE officers, involving CBP officers, involving immigration officers generally. According to The Guardian, shootings involving CBP and immigration agents are really at an all-time high right now. And so we don't know. We don't know. We don't know what happened. And until we get the full story, it's important not to speculate. I'm going to continue providing you updates, of course, as we get more information. But this is still very serious development tonight in Portland, Oregon. Comes just one day after the horrific shooting that we saw on camera, on video in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We'll get more information coming soon. So make sure